Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's having a great morning so far. Thank you so much for joining me here this morning on Narcissism 101, Cracking the Code with me, Paul Wisdom. Hope everybody's having a great Thursday morning so far. Before we get into what we're going to talk about today, if you would like a one-on-one session, please email me, paul.wisdom_03@hotmail.com, or you can send a text message 647-406-3057. If you want to talk, if you want to vent, if you need some more advice, if you're trying to figure out whether the person you're dealing with is a narcissist or not, please feel free to reach out to me. If you want to reach out to me by phone, please just make sure you text message me first. Let me know your name. Let me know that you have been watching my videos for quite some time. And then I'll be able to help you. If you just call the number, I may just block the number just because, like I said before, I just don't answer random numbers. There are a lot of predators out there, a lot of people trying to, gain information from people. So I'm very careful in whom I answer the phone to. So yeah, just send a text. Let me know your name. Let me know that you've been watching my videos, and I'll be able to help you out. Okay. All right, so I have a really good one for you guys today. But before I get to that again, I want to say a special shout out to everybody who continues to support the channel. Thank you so much for everybody who watched the last video, the video on the fact that narcissists can dish it, but they can't take it. I got about 120 some views on that. Continue to support the channel. Continue to spread and share the video so that more and more people can get this content out, so that YouTube's algorithm can push the content. Thank you so much for all the subscribers. I got about 57 subscribers now. Let's make it to 100 by the end of this year. I hope I make 100 subscribers by the end of this year, or maybe even sooner than that. But thank you guys so much. I just wanted to say a special shout out, a special thank you to everybody. I really appreciate all the support. All right, so I got a really good one for you guys today. So in one of my videos recently, what I said was everything that narcissists do is a form of gaslighting, and that's very true. Now, what we are going to talk about is the fact that everything narcissists do, the title of this video today rather, everything narcissists do is intentional. Yes, every single thing that narcissists do is intentional. And we're going to talk about some of the things that they do that are in fact intentional. Some examples rather, because everything the narcissist does is intentional. Everything. Okay. So we're going to go through that. So narcissists, we have to understand, and I mentioned this in many of my videos, and this is very true to its point still, that narcissists thrive off of chaos, confusion, and control. Everybody watching my video should know that by now. And if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for being here. If this is your first time being here, we really appreciate you being part of the community. But what I've said in most of my videos is that narcissists thrive off of chaos, confusion, and control. Without these three things, narcissists can't thrive, because without these three things, they do all these things in tandem together, and they can't have one without the other, right? So you have to understand that narcissists cause chaos in people's lives. They do it intentionally, and they do it on purpose. Now, someone's going to ask me, especially if you're new to learning narcissism, why do narcissists thrive off of chaos? Why do they do things intentionally, willingly, knowing that they're going to hurt somebody doing it? Well, the answer to that question is that it's because narcissists, when they do these things, it gives them a sense of purpose. They feel like they have control when they do these things. They feel like they have power over you. They feel like they feel happy because they know that they're doing something that you don't know about. Because you have to remember too, narcissists, when they cause chaos in somebody's life, they don't always do it directly. Sometimes they do it indirectly, right? They don't always do it to your face. Like, they don't always cause an intentional argument, to your face. Although a lot of times they do. They'll cause an intentional argument. They'll make you very mad. They'll do something that they know that makes you upset, and then they'll watch you scream and yell and go crazy. And then they'll say, what's your problem? Why are you getting so upset? And they'll start, pointing the finger at you, even though they know that they were the one that caused that. Because you have to understand, guys, and I've said this before, and many other content creators would agree with me, that narcissists know exactly what they are doing. They know when they are causing chaos. They know when they are starting an intentional argument on purpose that is about absolutely nothing, that has nothing to do with anything. They know that they're making you upset, when they show up late to something that's really important to you, whether it's like, let's say it's their kid's graduation, or let's say it's your graduation. Let's say that there's a special occasion going on where you're being celebrated for something like a promotion at work or something like that. They know this, guys. They understand it, right? The only thing about narcissists is that they just don't care, right? They don't care, but they also don't care in the sense that they feel as though, they will only help out or be there for whomever's in their life if it benefits them, if there's something in it for them, right? Because narcissists are always looking for a payoff, right? They're always looking for something that they will get in return, right? They're always looking to be the center of attention. They remember what I said. Narcissists have a high sense of self-importance. What does that mean? It means that they believe that they are better than everyone else, that everybody must bow down to them. But the truth, and I've said this before, and if I haven't said it before, I'll say it right now, that the truth is that narcissists, they know what they're doing, but the other thing to keep in mind is that the truth is that narcissists, when they're doing these things, right, they want to keep you off kilter. They want to throw you off balance, right? Because they want control of your mind, right? Remember the last one there, after chaos, confusion is control. They want control of your mind, right? Because narcissists, they it just gives it feeds their ego, it feeds their supply chain, right? When they're doing these things, when they're destroying your peace, when they're waking you up at like 3-4 in the morning just to get a rise out of you, even though they know that you start work at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you're trying to get your rest. They're doing that on purpose, right? So that you lose sleep, because they know that if you lose sleep, then you're going to be miserable, right? That you're going to be upset, that you're not going to perform at your best, right? And that's what they want. They don't want you to perform at your best because they want to make it seem as though they are better than you. But the truth is that narcissists know they are not better than you. They know that, right? They know that you are better than them, right? But see, that's why it's all twisted. That's why narcissists are very twisted thinkers. That's why everything they do nothing they do ever makes sense, right? Because they know that they know that you are better than them, but they need to make it seem as though they are better than you. I'm going to say that again. Somebody didn't hear that. For the people in the back. Narcissists know that you are better than them, but they need to make it seem as though they are better than you, right? And they do this in many different ways, right? They'll go to their family and friends and people at work if they have a job, and they'll go tell these people that that they're the ones who do everything at home, all the cooking and cleaning, even though they know you're the one who does it. Right? Because they want to make it seem as though they're better than you, even though they don't know that, even though they know that you do everything, even though they know that you're a good person, they need to make it seem as though they are better than you, right? Because it gives them it's their high sense of self-importance. It's the disorder that they have in their mind, right? Where they have to believe that they are better than you are, right? But that's not the truth, and we know that, right? That they're not better than you, right? You're better than them. Right? That's why they have to steal other people's ideas. That's why narcissists don't have any creativity. They don't have a mind of their own. They can't think for themselves. They always have to have people thinking for them. They always have to have people doing things for them, right? Because narcissists enlist these people, aka flying monkeys, to do the bidding for them. Many of these people are narcissistic as well. And some of these people don't even know that they're a flying monkey. They don't even know that they're being enlisted to do something by the devil himself, the narcissist. Right? And so narcissists, you have to understand, everything they do, they know that they're doing those things. When they're, let's say, when they bump into you on purpose, right? Let's say that you guys are on a walk or something like that, and you're probably, maybe you're holding something in your hand, or maybe you're not holding something in your hand, right? Let's say you're on a walk or something, or let's say that you're in your office and you're just sitting and you're just relaxing, or let's say that, you're sitting on the couch and you're relaxing at home. Right? And let's say that the narcissist, they do something intentional, like you're watching a show, or you're sitting up and they step on your toe, or they bump into you on purpose when you're walking, and then the thing that you're holding falls out of your hand on the ground, and then they look at you and they smirk at you like that. Like they know that they did that, right? It was on purpose, right? If you would probably look over at them and say, "Why did you do that for? Can you stop? And then they'll say, what's your problem? Why are you getting so upset? Why are you being so sensitive for? Why are you so serious? And then they'll start pointing the blame at you, even though you didn't do anything wrong to them, right? And they know that they did that intentionally to get you mad, right? Because narcissists love supply. They love getting positive supply and negative supply, right? And when they're getting somebody mad, that's negative supply that they're getting from that, from making you angry, right? From making you upset, from making you sad, right? They know that they know when you send them a text message, right? And you don't, like, again, you probably don't even know they're a narcissist right now. Let's say that you send them a text message, and then let's say that, maybe a day goes by, an hour goes by, right? An hour goes by, or a day goes by, or something like that, and they still haven't answered you back yet. And you're trying to figure out, and especially if it's your spouse, you're trying to figure out, and you start calling their phone, they're not answering their phone, then you start getting scared, right? Then you start wondering, what's wrong with my spouse, or what's wrong with my partner, or my boyfriend, or my girlfriend, or my wife, or my husband. You're trying to figure out what's going on with them, or even if it's in your family. Let's say that you live at home, right? And they're not answering, nobody's answering their phone, right? Nobody's answering you, and you're trying to get back at them and they're not answering, and you're trying to figure out what's going on here. The truth is that they know, especially because they're a narcissist. If they're a narcissist, they know that they're doing that to you, right? They're doing it on purpose because they want you to chase after them, right? So that when they do answer, and then they probably just yell at you and say, or they just, if they're a covert narcissist, they probably just say, what do you want? Right? And then you'll be confused, because now you're confused because you're trying to figure out, wait, I wanted to speak to you about this and that. And they know that you want to speak to them about this and that. But the thing is, again, is that they're doing it intentionally to make you mad, right? Now, people are asking me the question, why are they making me mad? Why are they doing this? If they don't like me, why don't they just leave me alone? Well, the answer, and I have the perfect answer for you guys, the answer is that they're doing these things to you and they don't want to leave you alone because you offer the narcissist something. Now, that's something that you offer them. I don't know. You don't know. We will never know. The only person who knows that is the narcissist, right? And the sad thing is they will never tell you that, right? Because they know if they tell you that, they're giving you the playbook, to their plans to destroy you, right? Then they know the game is up. And they know that they can't fool you anymore because now the cat's out the bag, right? But they don't want to do that, right? So you serve some sort of purpose to the narcissist, right? That's why they want access to people. Now, see, people are going to ask me the question, well, I have friends and I have people who I have access to. Well, we're not talking about you. We're talking about narcissists. You are a lot different than the narcissist is. You have access to people for purpose, right? And you treat these people well, I hope. You're not using or taking them for granted, right? But see, it's the opposite with the narcissist. Right? Narcissists want access to people because they want control. They want to prove to everybody that, oh, that person's my friend and that person's my friend. And, oh, I know that person. Oh, I know this person. When they haven't spoken to that person in 7 years, or that person blocked them or deleted them or wants nothing to do with them, or that brother or that sister, wants nothing to do with them, right? So narcissists do things, intentionally because they know that they'll get something in return. That's something, like I said, we will never know. And the narcissist won't explain that because, again, they would be giving away their game to you. And they don't. And the thing about narcissists is that they're sneaky and they're like snakes. They slither around in the grass, right? And they go around and bite a target, a certain person, and they do it without that person knowing. Right, and then if they're depending on what type, well, a snake, when they bite someone, it's usually a pinch. Now, I've never been bit by a snake, but I've just heard this and research and Discovery Channel and all those different types of things. When a snake hits somebody, they usually insert their poison into that person without that person even knowing. Right, sometimes that person won't even know that they're poisoned until much later on. That's sort of how the narcissist works, right? They're slithery. They're like a snake. They move around and then they'll prick a person, right? Or they will if they get too close to a person for an extended period of time, everything about that person will be drained. Their resources, their finances, the personality that they are. You know what I mean? They're gonna lose their sense of person, right? To the narcissist. because the narcissist does this intentionally, right? And they do this stuff intentionally, like, I don't know, blowing up your birthday. That's another one. Messing up your birthday. You're supposed to be celebrating your birthday today, and if you are celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday from me, Paul Wisdom, and the rest of us. But if you're celebrating your birthday today, and the narcissist, they don't do anything for you. They don't give you a present. They don't give you a hug. They don't acknowledge you, or they tell you happy birthday the day before your birthday or the day after your birthday. That's actually what my ex-mother-in-law did. I remember when me and my ex-wife, we were married, and it was my birthday, March 9. And the day before, I think it was the night before, I get a text from my mother-in-law saying happy birthday the day before my birthday. And I was confused, and I said to my wife, babe, why is your mom texting me the day before my birthday telling me happy birthday? And then her response was, oh, I don't know. Why would she do that? And I'm like, I don't know. She's your mom. Why would she do that? And I'm just so confused. So narcissists, they know, and I didn't hear from her on my birthday at all, right? So what I'm saying here is that narcissists know that they're screwing, that they do these things on purpose, right? Because they wanna mess with you, they wanna cause confusion, and the thing is, they want you to explain. They want you to ask questions, right? Because even though they know they're not going to give you the answer to those questions, right? Because they know that if they give you the answer, that means that they're taking accountability. And that's something narcissists cannot do. They cannot take accountability. I made a video entitled Accountability in big letters, accountability. You guys should go watch it. It's really important. But what I'm saying here is that everything narcissist does is intentional, right? They do it intentionally. They make you sick. This is another one. They make you sick intentionally. I remember when me and my ex-wife we were married, and I remember when I was feeling good. I wasn't sick or anything like that. And I remember when my ex-wife, she was sick, right? She had a cold or something like that. She was coughing up the place, making all this noise. And I remember, because I made her tea and I took care of her and all that stuff. But then later on, she tried to get me sick. She was just like, babe, come here. And then she tries to kiss me and get in my face. And, and then days later, I start getting a little tickle in my throat and I start not feeling well, right? So narcissists, they do, and she was doing that intentionally, to make me sick, right? So that then she could go tell her family, look, my husband's sick and he doesn't take care of himself. So they do these things on purpose, willingly. And they do this because they want supply. They want to get supply from watching you, struggle. Because narcissists love seeing people struggle, right? It makes them happy, right? Because they know that they've got one over on that person, right? That's struggling. But when they're struggling, everybody needs to do everything for them. It's like that video I just made, that narcissists can dish it, but they can't take it, right? So the thing is, guys, and this is what you must understand. The fact that this is why we say that when you find out that someone's a narcissist, you can't continue to entertain them. You can't continue to give them second chances. You can't continue to think that things are going to get better, that they're going to change or something like that, or they're going to apologize, or that they're going to start showing up for you when you need them, when you need them for something, right? Reasonable, of course. You're not being unreasonable and making a reasonable request, I hope, but you're being reasonable, right? This is why we say that when you find out someone's a narcissist, don't entertain them anymore. Just go no contact. Leave these people in the past. Get rid of these people as fast as you can, right? Understand everybody's situations are different, but this is where you have to also understand what narcissist you're dealing with, right? And I talked about that in many of my other videos that, when you're dealing with certain narcissists, right, you need to make sure that you're protecting yourself properly. Right? This is why it's really important that, you have somebody in your corner that you can trust. At least one person, at least one friend or one family member or one person who you can trust, right? Because then you can let this person know, look, I feel like I'm in danger. This person is acting very strange. I'm not sure why they're acting this way. And then you can let them know, right? So that you can protect yourself, right? But you do that, because you want to make sure that, you're not getting harmed, you're not getting hurt, right, by any chance, right? Narcissists also know they lie to you intentionally as well, right? They love to lie intentionally about the little smallest things that don't even require any lying, right? Like going to the store and, purchasing, I don't know, chocolates or something or snacks. And then you're asking them, did you purchase those snacks even though we have many? And then they say, no, I didn't purchase them. And they're like, but they're right here and they're in the bag. You purchased them. And then they say, what's your problem? Why are you so serious? Like, and now you're being gaslight because you're trying to figure out if you did something wrong. But you didn't do anything wrong, right? The narcissist is just trying to, manipulate you. They're trying to get you under control again, right? Because narcissists know, they know what they're doing, but they also want to feel like they're in control, right? Again, right? So just understand everything that they do is intentional. It is intentional to hurt you, right? They want to hurt you. They nothing good ever comes from being around a narcissist. That's why you have to go no contact. You have to leave them alone, right? Because they will eventually get worse and worse and worse. Because the older narcissists get, the more their memories starts to leave them. Because their memories, narcissist memories, are worse than most other people's memories. Now, I'm not trying to say that everybody who has a bad memory is a narcissist. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say that the thing with narcissists is that their memories go from them because they don't take care of themselves, right? Because they spend so much of their time lying and so much of their time creating such a character. They create this person who they're not, right? And they spend so much time crafting that, to make themselves like that, right? So it's really important that you understand that narcissists, they don't get better, right? Nothing ever gets better when it comes to a narcissist. It just gets worse and worse and worse, right? And they do everything intentionally. They disrespect you intentionally. They walk 50 feet in front of you and 50 feet behind you intentionally, right? It's not like they don't know. They know exactly what they're doing, and they do that because they want to make it seem as though they're not with you, right? And they want to make it seem as though their attention's not on you, right? That they don't care about you. They want to show the world that they don't care about you, right? So you have to understand, guys, and take this seriously. It's not a joke. It's not like you can just, say to this person, oh, well, it's just my brother, or my mom, or my dad, or my spouse. They're just like that sometimes. And, they can, they have their issues, but no, you can't treat it like that because narcissists are not like normal people. And I've said this plenty of times in my videos. They're not like normal, everyday people that you encounter or a toxic person here and there that just has some challenges. It's not like that, guys. Narcissists are the epitome of the devil, right? They're like the devil in human form. That's why you need to take this seriously and don't give these people the time of day, right? Because the more that you give them the time of day, the more that they're going to drain your energy, right? They're going to take everything from you if they can, if they get the chance to. And it depends on what you provide for them as well. See, we all provide something different to the narcissist. And like I said in this video, me, you, and everyone else, we will never know what we provide for them, but you provide something, right? And only the narcissist will know that. And only they will decide how long they want to keep you in their life for. It could be a day, it could be a week, it could be a couple of minutes, it could be an hour, it could be, it could be a month, it could be a year, it could be a decade. It depends on what you offer them. It depends on, what you provide for them, right? Whatever you provide, it doesn't matter. It could be anything, right? And the narcissist will decide, right, what that thing is. Right? So what I'm saying though is that this is why I'm saying that think about it. They only want from you what you provide for them. It's not like they want your good personality and everything like that. They don't care about your good personality or your good looks or the fact that you have this going for you and you have that going for you. They're not interested in that. Maybe they are, but I don't. But they're not interested in that. It's whatever they decide that they're interested in with you, right? So just understand that, guys. Everything the narcissist does, it's intentionally. It's on purpose, right? Because again, it's for control. It's to cause chaos. It's to cause confusion, and it's to cause control, right? So I hope that you guys understand this stuff. It's really, really important. So that's what I wanted to talk about with you guys today. That everything the narcissist does is intentional. Like I said, if you like a one-on-one session, please email me, paul.wisdom_03@hotmail.com, or send a text message to 647-406-3057. Like I said, if you want to talk, if you want to vent, if you need more advice, if you're trying to figure out if you're doing narcissist or not, please feel free to reach out. by text first. Let me know your name and let me know you've been watching my videos, and then I can get you some help. Please don't just call. Again, I'm reiterating this. Please don't just call, because if you just call, I'll probably block the number, because if I don't know who it is, I'm not gonna, entertain that. But yeah, just text me, let me know your name, and then I can give you the help. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. Like, subscribe, share it with somebody who you think could use the knowledge, or somebody who you think is dealing with someone who's disrespecting or hurting them intentionally, based on what you've seen. Show them this video. Maybe they know what's happening, and maybe they're trying to figure out an exit plan. Send them to me, and I can get them the help that you need. I also put in the description that my podcast that I spoke on about my experience on narcissism. If you want to watch that, the links are there. There's two parts to it. So watch it. Maybe share it with somebody as well who you think could use the wisdom, the knowledge. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I hope to see you guys on the next video. Thank you so much.